Good day everyone. So kahapon merong difficulties opening yung video na sinend ko sa classroom. So this time, I made another video and I hope panood nyo mamaya. So this one is a continuation of our topic last time, balancing demand and productive capacity for quality service. No, so we are done on this slide, yung managing demand, and then yun nga meron tayong tatlong kailangan i-consider dito: demand forecasting, strategic planning, and customer communication. And of course, I discussed already yung marketing mix, yung 4 P's in marketing mix, which help us in molding the demand pattern. And of course, um, the things or strategies in modifying demand para mag-match siya doon sa capacity natin, no? And of course, how we adjust capacity para mas ma-meet yung demand natin, yung mga strategies na rin. And of course, increasing demand to match capacity. Okay, so ulitin lang natin, class, na when we are talking of demand, this is the uh, this is the services or the needs and wants of the guest, no? Usually ang indicator nito is yung number of guests na pumupunta sa establishment natin. And when we say capacity naman, ito yung kakayahan natin to provide those needs, no, yung to provide those needs and wants of the guest. Okay, and also when we are talking about capacity, no, it's not only the capacity of the staff yung pinag-uusapan dito, but then the capacity of the establishment in terms of facilities, in terms of equipments, no, in providing the services. Okay, so this time, class, ayan, yan ko lang na. So, this time, yung discussion natin will be focusing on strategic integration, no? So, combining demand capacity approaches. In simple terms, this topic is about how organizations balance customer demand and their ability to serve. Now, because in reality, solving only one side, either demand or capacity, is not enough. No? So, kailangan, sabi ko nga doon sa discussion natin, we must treat these two, yung demand and capacity, not separately, but they must go hand in hand, no? So we must treat it holistically, no? So, kung titingnan natin, class, no, most organizations fail when they treat demand and capacity as separate problems. No, but in reality, yung dalawang yon are connected. For example, kung yung demand ay mataas and capacity natin to provide the demand is, or yung needs and wants is low, no, customers, no, will experience delays. On the other on the other hand, if capacity is high pero yung demand natin is low, yung resources natin ay sayang din, no? So, yung goal natin dito is kailangan natin silang i-integrate, meaning kailangan silang sabay mag-adjust, and at the same time, kailangan din natin silang tingnan into yung one system, no? So, first here, class, is we need to analyze the patterns, no? Kailangan nating i-analyze yung patterns. Ang mga ina-analyze natin dito, kailan marami yung customer at kailan ko konti, no? So, how do we use our resources? For example, sana, a restaurant may notice na maraming customers during weekends pero kokonti during weekdays. So, yung mga bagay-bagay na yun, class, ay importante, no? Ma para mas ma-mold natin yung demand, and at the same time para mas mapag-igihan din natin doon sa part ng capacity, no? Okay, yung pangalawa dito, pag na-analyze na natin yung patterns, we set objectives. Okay? So, ano ba yung objectives natin? Kailangan i-define daw natin specific, measurable goals for capacity utilization, service quality, and customer satisfaction. So, if you still remember class, pag nagsiset tayo ng objective, sabi ko sa inyo last time, kailangan smart yon. We follow yung smart na yon. No? So, kailangan daw maging clear yung objective na yon. So, ano kailangan nating consider dito ng mga questions? Gaano karaming customers natin, no? Gaano karaming customers yung gaano karami yung customers natin na yung tipong hindi natin na-handle, no? So, paano natin mapapabilis yung service? Paano mapapataas yung customer satisfaction? So, kailangan specific at kailangan na measure yung mga goals na to. Okay? Yung pangatlo dito is design interventions, no? So, after that, kailangan nating i-design yung solution or intervention. Kailangan mag-develop tayo ng integrated package of demand management, sabi nga dito, and capacity adjustment strategies para ma-address yung root cause na yon. Okay? So, included dito yung pag-adjust ng price, pagkakaroon ng promotion, pag-schedule ng staff, at of course, pag-improve ng ating systems. Okay? Yung pinaka-goal natin dito, class, is to address yung root cause ng imbalance na yon. No? And then, yung pang-apat dito, class, is implement changes. Of course, pagkatapos na magkaroon tayo ng solutions or interventions, kailangan na natin i-implement yung mga changes na yun. So, importante dito, class, kailangan na i-communicate natin yung changes na yun sa ating mga customers. No? Pagdating naman sa ating mga staff, kailangan nabibigyan sila ng training or ng support para alam nila kung papaano i-implement yung changes na yon, no? Lalong-lalo na um, sila yung sa interaction with customers. Okay? So, mahalaga yon. So, because, no, even the best plan will fail kung hindi natin naiintindihan ng mga tao. Kaya kailangan um, we communicate sa kanila para mas lalo nating maintindihan ano yung kailangan nila, no? Ano yung mga needs and concerns nila. And of course, we measure the results. Sabi dito, track key metrics continuously, comparing actual performance against objectives and adjusting as needed. So, kailangan nating i-measure yung results, no? Yung mga questions na kailangan nating include dito. Yung performance ba nag-improve? Yung customer satisfaction ba nag-increase? Na-meet ba ang objective? Okay? So, kung no, ang mga sagot mo doon sa nasabi kong tanong, of course, kailangan na naman nating mag-adjust. Kailangan nating we go back, ano ba yung problema? Okay? So, yon. And then, yung pang-anim dito is to optimize the system. So, finally, we optimize the system. Of course, we continue improving. Okay? So, continue improving by keeping what works. So, kung alin dun sa mga intervention natin yung gumagana, we keep them. Okay? We implement them. Okay? However, yung mga intervention na hindi effective, kailangan nating alisin yung mga yon. And of course, the process continues. Okay? So, let's take an example on this one. No? Example, a hotel notices no, empty restaurant during weekdays, full banquet events during weekends. So, instead of treating this separately, kailangan i-integrate yung solution. So, pwede siguro yung staff dun sa restaurant na yon can support yung banquet during weekends. And of course, promotions can attract customers during weekdays. So instead of shortage and excess, no, they balance the resources. Okay. So, yun. Ang isipin lang natin dito, no, minsan, nag-excess tayo ng capacity. Okay? And minsan din, nagkakaroon ng insufficient capacity. Okay? Yung dalawang yun, problema pa rin yun. And kung titingnan natin, they are just poorly distributed resources. So, kailangan natin i-integrate strategically yung mga nabanggit dito, yung analyzing patterns, setting goals, Ganon. Para mas mabalance natin yung demand and capacity. Kasi kung titingnan natin, in real world operations, no, success comes first when we know how to manage yung demand and capacity together and not separately. Ayun naman yun. So, dito naman class, no, kanina naintindihan natin kung paano integrate yung capacity and demand. So, ngayon naman, um, dito, additional integration patterns kung paano natin mas ma-integrate yung dalawang yon. Example, peak demand periods, kailangan daw magbawas tayo ng demand through reservation. Okay? Para hindi sila mag-flock doon sa isang channel. No? So, pwede siguro tayong mag-implement ng reservation doon sa ating process. And then, pag off-peak periods naman, no, we need to increase demand through promotions. And then, pag seasonal patterns, build permanent capacity for minimum demand. No? And then, irregular patterns, implement reservation system para sa smooth variability. Okay? So, yan. So, kanina, naintindihan na natin kung paano natin i-integrate yung demand and capacity. Ngayon naman, let's move forward doon sa role ng technology natin para mas mabalance si demand and capacity. No. So today, no, hindi naman may pagkakaila that technology plays a very important role in balancing demand and capacity. So, kung titingnan natin, before kasi, yung business, they relied only on manual observations. Pero kung ngayon, makikita natin, ma-observe natin that with the modern systems na meron tayo ngayon, mas natatrack na natin yung customer behavior na pre-predict na natin yung demand, and at the same time, na-adjust natin yung operations in a real time, no? So, this makes decision making faster and more accurate as well. So, yung una dito is predictive analytics. Okay? So, itong predictive analytics, it uses data and machine learning para mas ma-analyze yung past patterns and predict future demand. No? Kung maalala nyo yung sabi kong through historical record, nakikita natin, na-predict natin kung tataas ba yung ating demand for that month, no? Or kung mababa ba siya. Okay? Another example, no, a restaurant can analyze previous sales data and predict how many customers will come on a weekend. So, because of this, no, nakakapag-prepare ng enough staff yung restaurant, and at the same time, naiiwasan yung mga shortages sa resources, and at the same time, nare-reduce yung mga waste. So, sabi dito nga, class, no, so instead of reacting, nagiging proactive sila, lalong-lalo na at nakita nila yung kagandahan ng technology. Next one, we have digital booking. So, yung digital booking naman, on this platform, no, customers can check availability, book services, choose their preferred schedule. So, example sana, no, instead na may mag-walk-in, no, yung customers can reserve in advance. So, this technology help businesses control the number of customers and at the same time avoid overcrowding. And it balance demand throughout the day. So, demand becomes more organized. Yun naman, ang ganda nito. And then next one, we have automated service channel. No, this include self-service kiosks, mga chatbots, online ordering system. No, so these technologies allows customers to serve themselves without needing staff. For example, in a fast food restaurant, so customers can order using kiosks. So, yung result nito is mas nagiging faster yung service, and of course, less waiting time. It also increase capacity without hiring more staff. Okay? So, yun. Ano pa ba itong nandito? Ayan. So, meron din tayo ditong cloud-based resource management, centralized platform that allocates resources across multiple locations. It optimizes utilization while providing real-time visibility to managers and customers. Meron din tayong tinatawag na IoT and sensor networks. Ito naman yung pag-monitor ng facility utilization, customer flow, and service delivery. No? And then, meron din tayong mobile workforce management. No? Ayan, ginagamitan nito ng GPS tracking and automated routing to maximize productivity. So, yung key insights natin dito is technology help businesses. No? So, ano yung mga benefits or ano yung mga key roles ng technology na yon in helping the business succeed? First is of course to predict the demand, right? To control customer flow and of course to increase service capacity. Ayan. So, kung i-connect natin yung previous discussion natin kanina dun sa integration of demand and capacity with the use of technology. So, kung makikita natin that technology makes it easier to analyze the patterns, implement solutions, and of course, continuously improve operations. Ayun naman yun. Okay, so now we proceed with measuring success, yung mga key performance indicators. No? So, pag na-implement na natin yung strategies at nagkaroon na tayo ng utilization of technology, no? Yung next na question dyan is, how do we know if our strategies are effective? No? Paano natin malalaman na yung strategies natin, yung in-implement natin ay effective? So, on this slide, no, kailangan nating i-measure yung success. And yung success na yun, class, no, we will be using yung tinatawag nating Key Performance Indicators or KPIs. Okay, so in simple terms, ang KPIs na to, it answers the questions, effective ba yung ginawa natin or yung in-implement natin na plan? Okay, so bakit importante si KPI na to? Kasi first, no, natatrack natin yung performance. Pangalawa, na-identify natin yung mga problems as early as possible. And then next, yung nag-guide tayo pag may mga decision making. And of course, it supports continuous improvement. Okay, so now let's look at some important KPIs, no, that we can use in balancing demand and capacity. Okay, meron tayong tinatawag dito na capacity utilization. So, this measures how much of your available capacity is being used. So, sabi niya dito, 85%. Optimal facility and staff utilization, balancing efficiency with service quality buffer. No? Example sana, no, in a restaurant na merong 100 seats, pero 50 lang yung occupied. So, ibig sabihin nun, ang rationalization nun, 50% lang yung na-utilize. So, low utilization means wasted resources. Pero pag high utilization, of course, that will may lead to congestion or poor service naman yan. And then next, meron din tayong tinatawag dito na service level agreement. So, nakikita nyo, 95% daw. Percentage of customers served within promised timeframes during normal operation. So, mataas 95%. So, ibig sabihin efficient yung ating yung ating services. And then, meron din tayong tinatawag dito na peak to off-peak ratio. Okay, so ano naman to? Acceptable variation between highest and lowest demand periods when smooth effectively. Ayan. And then next, meron tayong operational metrics. Okay, yung operational mga metrics natin or mga pwede nating consider in measuring the success of the plan na inimplement natin or yung changes na inimplement natin into our process. Number 1, capacity utilization rate by time period, yung average service time per transaction, nasa 5 minutes ba or mas tumatagal yung customer sa atin or inaabot ba yun ng 1 hour. And the next one, the number of transaction per staff per hour. Facility downtime or idle periods. Yan. Staff overtime hours as percentage of total and first time resolution rate. So, yun. And then, doon naman sa customer experience metrics natin, meron tayong tinatawag na customer satisfaction scores. So, this one is being evaluated. Ngayon may mga online na din tayo, or before they use manual, no, in rating or evaluating yung performance ng mga staff. And then we also have the net promoter scores, wait time perceptions versus actual, service recovery effectiveness, repeat purchase or visit rates, and complaint resolution time. Okay. So, ayan. And then, additional metrics, we have peak demand met. So, percentage of peak period demand successfully served without quality degradation. That is 75%. Pag sa off-peak growth naman, year-over-year increase in traditionally slow period utilization. And then, yung cost per transaction, reduction in unit cost from improved capacity utilization. So, yung peak of yung peak ratio natin, nandito siya, no? Example, a restaurant that traditionally serve 100 customers Saturday dinner and 20 customers Wednesday lunch had a 5:1 ratio. So, after implementing early bird special and weekday promotions, if Wednesday lunch grows to 40, okay, while Saturday dinner remains 100, the ratio improves to 2.5:1, dramatically better capacity utilization. So, ibig sabihin, walang idle time um, doon sa Wednesday. Ayan. The absolute numbers matter less than the ratio improvement, showing successful demand redistribution. So, hindi lang sila nagpa-flock doon sa Saturday, but instead na didistribute sila even doon sa weekdays. No? Ayan, meron din tayong dito, class, leading versus lagging indicators require distinction. So, pag sinabing lagging indicators, ito yung like monthly revenue or annual customer satisfaction scores, confirm past performance but provide little early warning. So, it leads, now yung leading indicators like booking lead times, waitlist lengths, or website traffic patterns predict future demand changes, so enabling proactive adjustment. So, operations managers need both lagging indicators, no, to confirm strategies work, and then leading indicators naman, it enables course correction before problem emerge. Ayan. Meron pa ba? Ayan. Okay. So, now we are, about to end this presentation. And of course, before we end, importante makita natin yung blueprint ng ating plan from the planning phase or assessment phase rather up to the time na i-measure na natin ito. So, this one is moving from strategy to action. So, after we understand the demand and capacity balancing strategies, no, kailangan nating i-blueprint papaano ba ito, papaano ba, no? Papaano natin i-visualize para mas maintindihan natin lalo paano siya i-implement, paano siya i-measure. Number one is the assessment phase, sabi niya. So, doon sa assessment phase, kailangan nating i-assess kung ano ba yung imbalance between capacity and demand, right? And then after that, strategy development. So, analyze assessment findings to identify the root causes of demand capacity mismatches. And then, we develop integrated packages of 2 to 3 demand management and capacity adjustment strategies. So, yung mga nabanggit sa inyo kanina, class, or noong may face-to-face meeting tayo ng mga strategies, yun yung sinasabi niya dito. So, sabi niya, at least you implement 2 to 3, no, demand management and capacity adjustment strategies. And of course, next one, kailangan nating i-pilot test. Yung pilot testing dito, usually Usually pag sa research ito na ginagawa namin class, nasa 10 to 20 na respondents, titingnan kung ano siya, respondents or customers, no? Titingnan kung effective ba yon. So, based from their feedbacks, no, magkakaroon ng refinement. At saka pa lang siya i-full roll out or i-full na implement. Andun na sa full roll out. And of course, yung pinaka-last dito ay continuous improvement. Ayun, kailangan ongoing. And to do that class, kailangan natin na i-monitor yung mga key metrics natin weekly. Kung effective ba yung ating mga plans. So, yung pinaka-final ano natin dito class is demand capacity balancing isn't about perfect equilibrium, but about building organizational agility para mag-respond effectively doon sa mga mismatch or mga imbalance, right? So, yung goal nito is to create a system that may absorb yung pagkakaiba or variability, no? While still nandun pa rin yung quality service, no? And it helps us actually to, no, yung business natin become resilient, no, amidst these challenges. Okay, amidst these inconsistencies. Okay? So, ayun lang on this topic. I hope you learned something. And then next meeting, I'll be giving another topic on yield management. Doon naman tayo sa revenue management. Okay? So, I'll just end here and